Look, I know Throg is a frog, but he's got that dog in him. Because after Donald Blake attacked him in his swamp, he blasted him with lightning and then battered him with so much force that he went flying into a school classroom. After that, Throg demanded him to stand down or he'd do even worse. But Donald wouldn't let up, so Throg signaled Lockjaw in to bite him. But nevertheless, Donald managed to dodge the attack and then used Sif's sword to teleport him and Throg to a different location so that they could have a fair battle without Lockjaw. But Lockjaw used his teleportation powers to follow them, so yet again Donald tried teleporting him and Throg somewhere else, but Lockjaw just kept on following them despite having to teleport to 5 different locations. But eventually Donald was able to single Throg out long enough to shove him down his throat and swallow him, which obviously made it seem like it was over. But then out of nowhere, Throg hurled his hammer out of his mouth so hard that it shattered his teeth. After that, Throg leaped out of his mouth, calling his hammer back to his side. Moments later, he signaled Lockjaw to hold Donald in place so he could smash his hammer directly onto the center of his head. The impact of the blow was so great that it made a crater in the ground and knocked Donald out cold. Lockjaw then expressed that he wanted to eat him, but Throg decided that it was best for them to take him to the Sanctum Sanctorum so Doctor Strange could interrogate him, which was exactly where Jane Foster was headed as well, because she thought Donald was acting very strange during their dinner. And after he left, she went back to her job as an assistant at a morgue, where she discovered that Roger Red, who was a former Thor, was dead. So she wanted to see if Doctor Strange had any idea what was going on, but when she arrived at his place, Throg and Lockjaw crashed onto the ground right in front of her, telling her to run. And that's when Donald stepped out of the window, dangling Doctor Strange by his throat and siphoning the Odin magic out of him. So Jane transformed into the Valkyrie to try and stop him, but before she could reach him, once again he used Sif's sword to teleport away. Doctor Strange couldn't believe how powerful he was, and he wasn't finished either, because after that he went over to Yggdrasil, the World Tree, to steal the vast amount of power contained inside of it. But Jane knew what they had to do. They needed the person who started all of this in the first place. So she called upon her horse and traveled to a bar on another planet, because in that bar was none other than the Allfather Odin. But sadly, that's where this issue comes to an end, but if you want to see what happens next, let me know in the comments down below.